Guys, hello. This video I'm going to explain what is a seller actually. I'm going to give the example first of the normal agency model, what used to be the best business model to start versus being a seller now. And we'll go over the tasks that need to be done to get to $10,000 a month as an agency. You need to be a killer content creator. You don't necessarily need to be a killer content creator, but content creation is necessary if you want to look established and just trustable. So you need to create content. You need to do outbound marketing. You need to learn the skill of lead scraping and cold outreach. These are not the most easy things to get into. Of course, everyone is able to learn it, but it's not in 1 to 3. Watch 1 or 2 YouTube videos and you can do it. It takes a bit longer than that and some input. They need to learn inbound marketing as well, how to talk to hot leads and book in engagement that's coming from your content or whatever source it may be. It's also a separate skill. They would need to learn closing. That's a completely other skill. It's also selling, but then another stage of the sale. They already spoke to you and you offer them your offer, but it's in person or on a sales call. So this is a completely other skill. That's also not learned by watching 1 or 2 YouTube videos. There's a lot of experience needed for this. Then something completely else, strategizing. Not a lot of people talk about this, but thinking about your own moves and what you're doing with your business is also something you would need to do. If you would have an agency, you would need to think, okay, how would I structure my offer? How do I position myself towards the market? All these things are really important, so strategizing. And like I said, you don't have the best ideas right off the bat. Some people have, but that's a minority. So that's also a thing or skill you need to be good at or learn. And then probably the most hardest thing to do, what I found in my opinion, is the client fulfillment or service delivery. Actually delivering the best results for your clients. And a lot of entails in this. The onboarding need to go smoothly. Your service needs to be a banger service, but then you also need to have a good client relationship. That's also something you need to do. So a lot of things. In summary, this all takes a lot of time, effort, and stress. Yeah, takes a lot of stress as well. Because not everything will go smooth right off the bat. On the contrary, everything won't go smooth right off the bat. Everything will be a headache in the beginning. Whatever you do, literally. So if there are a lot of headaches, that will combine be a big headache. You need to learn a lot of skills to get to a certain financial point. Like I said, called DMs, content, all these things. And psychology, yeah, but that's a bit with everything. So it is still really good because I started with this and it is possible. And it is not possible in years. You can do this in months as well. But it takes a lot of, like I said, time, effort, and stress. There's now a way better way, in my opinion, and that's being a seller. And tasks that need to be done to get to $10,000 a month, and it's only appointment setting. The only thing you need to do to get to $10,000 a month is setting appointments. If you have an agency and want to earn $10,000 a month, you need to do content creation, outbound marketing, inbound marketing, closing, strategizing, client fulfillment. And if you're a seller and you want to get to $10,000 a month, you only need to set appointments. And you don't get with this there quicker. On the contrary, you need to learn a lot more things, and all these things need to be in place for you to get to this financial point. And here, all these things need to be in place to get to this point, and it's only appointment setting. You only need to learn and do one thing 100% of the time, and that's called DM setting. You can also work with emails, but that's not even necessary. You can literally get rich out of Instagram DMs. So if you want to make money, I wouldn't know why you would start an agency. Being a seller is a way better option. If you decide to become a seller, there are 2 types of sellers. An inbound seller and an outbound seller. We're going to that right now. Oh shit. Inbound sellers, they message warm leads that engage on the profile of your client. For example, you work with an influencer. He has 800k followers. And if you're an inbound seller, your job is to get on his account and send all the people that like his posts, comment on their story, follow him. You need to target these leads and try to book in an appointment from them. And the pros with this is you have a higher booking rate because everyone who follows or engages with the account, he's already familiar with your client or the guy you're working for. So he will book in way quicker. But the cons of this is mostly if you're an inbound seller and you get placed on that role, you have always set hours or times you need to work. And it's mostly 8 hours a day. If you say you're only available half of the time, then you need to be lucky that they have an other seller as well that can fill in the other half of your day. That you can do 4 hours and another guy can do 4 hours. But that's not most of the time the case. They're looking for people who can do 8 hours a day. And most guys are in school or have a job, so this is really hard to do. You can do hours after school, of course, but then literally you're awake 18 hours every day. Seems like a headache. If there is a possibility that you could do part-time instead of full-time, but not everyone would accept it, but a lot of people will still accept it. And the other one is an outbound setter. And here you message people that fit the ICP of your client, that's called outreach, and you track them in a CRM or sheet. This can be done on their account or on your own account. You're just doing cold outreach for them. And the pros with this is you choose your own hours. You can literally do this always whenever you want. But the cons with this is you have a way lower booking rate. You're doing cold outreach. That means that the prospects aren't familiar with your client. And that requires a little bit more skill to book them in. And you need to start a lot more conversations to get to a certain appointment amount. But that's no problem at all. Because if you work hard and you send 50 to 60 messages a day, you can easily avoid this con and don't even notice that it is being harder to set via cold DMs. So it's totally up to you which one you would like to be, an inbound setter or an outbound setter. In my opinion, the best option is of course an inbound setter where you don't require to work a certain amount a day. And it's most of the time with people who aren't in the business space. For example, if you would work for a business offer or a sales offer, they would probably require working hours. But if you would work for a fitness coach or a dating coach, for example, these people wouldn't want you to work set hours, for example. They would, of course, require speed to lead, that you reply as fast as possible to these messages, or that you reply as fast as possible to that engagement, but you wouldn't have set hours. Only with trading coaches, text coaches, sales coaches, money coaches in general. But health and relationship coaches, these wouldn't require set hours a day. But to be honest, we're going next video over how to get into a role. It's way harder to land an inbound role. It's just the best place to be, but it's way harder to land that role. It's really easy to land an outbound role. So if you would just want to get started quickly, learn the skill quickly, and earn money quickly, maybe being an outbound setter is the best option. But if you're in it for the long game, being an inbound setter is way better. So yeah, I hope this was all clear and you decided what you wanted to be. And then in the next video, we'll go over how you can actually land a role.